Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Anna Molly. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, why are theatre curtains always red? If you've ever sat in a theatre waiting for a show to begin, you've probably noticed that giant, luxurious red curtain. But why red? Why not blue, green, or something more daring, like glow-in-the-dark stripes? Today, we're diving into the history, science, and even psychology behind this theatrical tradition. So, if you've ever wondered about the story behind the curtain, literally, stick around as we unravel the mystery, right here on Explaining Everything. First off, let's talk about color psychology. Red is the color of passion, power, and drama. It's the color of love, danger, and most importantly, spaghetti sauce. Our eyes are naturally drawn to red because it's bold, intense, and a little bit bossy. So when you enter a theater and see a giant red curtain, it's already setting the mood. It's saying something incredible is about to happen. So put away your phone and stop crinkling that candy wrapper. Now, if we roll back the clock to the olden days of theater, we'll find that red wasn't just chosen because it looked fancy. It was actually practical. Back in the Renaissance, theaters used candles and oil lamps for lighting. And guess what color hides candle soot and grime really well? Yep, red. The deep, velvety fabric could absorb years' worth of smoke without looking like it had been through a barbecue competition. Red has always been a color associated with royalty and wealth. In the medieval and Renaissance periods, red dyes were expensive, made from crushed insects or rare plants. Yes, people willingly squashed bugs for the sake of fashion. So if a theater had red curtains, it screamed sophistication and class, kind of like wearing a designer outfit, but for a stage. Theaters wanted to impress, and what better way than with a color that basically said, "We're so fancy, even our drapes are top tier." Here's where it gets even cooler, literally. The color red is one of the least fatiguing colors for the human eye. When lights dim before a performance, red is one of the first colors to disappear into the darkness. That means when the curtain opens, it's almost like magic. It vanishes from your focus, making the transition from waiting for the show to showtime feel seamless. It's like the theatrical equivalent of a ninja. Here, 1 second, gone, the next. Red also does not absorb light as much as other colors, such as blue or green. This means that if the production team wants to cast a spotlight onto the stage, having a red background will help to make it stand out. The contrast ensures that all eyes are drawn to the performers and not distracted by an overly reflective or dark backdrop. Of course, once something becomes a trend, it sticks around. By the time the film industry took off, grand theaters were already using red curtains. So what did movie theaters do? They copied the style. From the grand old opera houses to your local cinema, red curtains became a universal symbol of, "Get ready, folks, the show's about to start." It's branding at its finest, just like how fast food chains use red to make you hungry. Theaters use red to make you excited. Fast forward to today, and red curtains are still the go-to. Are they still the best choice, or is it just that nobody's dared to challenge the status quo? Imagine if theaters suddenly swapped to lime green curtains, chaos, riots, people demanding refunds. Okay, maybe not that dramatic, but red is so ingrained in theater culture that changing it would feel weird. It's like how everyone insists popcorn is the official movie snack, even though it gets stuck in your teeth and somehow ends up in your hoodie. Before we wrap up, here are some fun facts about theater curtains. Did you know that some of the most famous red curtains in the world weigh several tons? The curtain at the Sydney Opera House, for example, is so massive that it takes an entire team to operate it smoothly. Also, in some theaters, the curtain is referred to as a house curtain or a grand drape, and in the UK, it's sometimes called a tabs curtain. Fancy, right? Another interesting fact, some theaters actually use a safety curtain made of fire-resistant materials behind the main red one. This is to prevent fires from spreading to the audience if something goes wrong on stage. So, to sum it up, theater curtains are red because of psychology, history, royalty, science, and a dash of good old-fashioned tradition. They set the mood, hide the grime, and create that magical moment when they finally pull back and the show begins. It's a simple but effective piece of stagecraft that's been around for centuries, and let's be honest, it just looks awesome. But beyond all the history and science, there's something about that rich red curtain that just feels right. It's dramatic, theatrical, and a little bit mysterious. It tells you that you're about to witness something special, whether it's a Shakespearean tragedy, a Broadway musical, or a comedy that makes you laugh so hard you snort. So next time you're sitting in a theater, waiting for the show to start, take a moment to appreciate that iconic red curtain. After all, it's been setting the stage for centuries. And now, the curtain falls on this video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of stage curtains, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.